Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to see about a climate of India. So India experiences a tropical monsoon type of a climate. So India receives its maximum rain during a monsoon period. So this is a rough map of India. The north side of India was covered by the Himalayas. Then the western side was covered by the Western Ghats mountains. Then eastern side by Eastern Ghats. And this side was Arabian Sea. And then eastern side was a Bay of Bengal, and then Indian Ocean here. So we all know about this, and this Tropic of a Cancer divides the India into a two region. Okay, one is to the south of a Tropic of Cancer, and another one is a north of a Tropic of Cancer. So these are the major factors that determines the climate of India. First one is the latitude. Latitude is nothing but a how much the distance of the region from a equator. Okay, as already said, Tropic of Cancer divides India into two equal halves. One is the south side of a Tropic of Cancer, and another one is the north of a Tropic of a Cancer. The area that lies to the south of a Tropic of a Cancer experiences a very high temperature because it lies very close to the equatorial region or tropical region receives a maximum sun radiation, and there will be a maximum temperature, there will be high temperature in this region. So this south side experiences a very high temperature, but this north side, which lies to the north side of a Tropic of a Cancer, receives a less temperature when compared to the south side. So the annual range in this south zone will be small. So annual range is nothing but a maximum temperature and the minimum temperature recorded on this range. Okay, maximum temperature and the minimum temperature, and the range is known as a annual range. So in a year, so this maximum temperature indicates that what is the maximum temperature that the region receives in a year, and the minimum temperature indicates what is the minimum amount of a temperature that the region receives in a year. So this range will be less. Okay, there will be no major changes in this maximum and minimum temperature because this region always receives a very high temperature throughout the year. So there will be a more or less same type of a temperature, minimum and maximum temperature. Okay, so the range will be minimum, annual range will be minimum, but in this north side was away from the equator, so the range will be high, the minimum and the maximum temperature and the range will be high here, north side. Okay, so this is what the latitude. So the latitude decides the annual range of a temperature. Okay, take for example, on the south side there will be always a sun radiation. Okay, sun always and sunlight always will be there in the south side of a Tropic of a Cancer. North side also receives a sun throughout the year, but here there will be a maximum radiation. Okay, so the minimum temperature and the maximum temperature will not be differ very much, but in the north side, during a summer season it receives a very high temperature, and during a winter season it receives very low temperature, so the annual range will be high. Okay, next one is the Himalayan mountains. So the Himalayan mountains lies to the north side of India. So the cold air mass that comes from the Arctic pole. We know that Arctic pole lies in the northernmost latitude. Okay, the cold air mass that comes from the North Pole does not enter very much into the India. Okay, due to the disruption by the Himalayas. Himalayas block this cold air mass. Okay, so the region that lies south to the south side of the Himalayas does not receive very cold temperature. Okay, so why it was is due to the presence of Himalayas here. It blocks the cold air mass. So Himalayan mountains also plays a role in the climatic condition of India. So next one is the distances from a sea. Okay. So here we know that a sea water does not eat suddenly. It was slow eating capacity, and also it does not eat. It does not receives, or it does not becomes very cold as soon as possible. It does not becomes a cold at a very instant. It slows very slowly. It receives a cold very slowly. It becomes hot very slowly. But land is not like that. Okay, land becomes very cold or hot as soon as the radiation was received and radiation was removed. Okay, so the eating capacity of a water is eating or cold capacity of a water is less, but the eating capacity of the land is very much high. It becomes very hot as soon as it receives the radiation, and it becomes cold as soon as the radiation was removed. So the distances that lies very much away from the sea, as we know that India was surrounded by a sea water on three sides. The region that lies very much away from the sea, there will be a extreme climatic condition. Take for example, in these regions which lies close to the sea water, there will be a minimum level of a temperature extremity. Okay, the temperature is not very extreme. It is not very cold or it is not very hot. But the inner regions which lies away from a sea will becomes there will be extreme temperature. Either it may be a very cold or it may be a very hot. So the region of a place that lies away from a sea, or the distance it lies away from a sea, decides the climatic condition. Next one is the altitude. Altitude is nothing but a height of a region. Okay, so some places in India was higher altitude. Take for example Himalayan regions, or at some elevated high latitude due to the presence of mountains, and Western Ghats having a high latitude due to the mountains. So the regions in these higher latitudes will be very cold. Okay, and the region that lies lower altitude, the regions in the higher altitude will be a colder one, and the regions that lies in a lower altitude will be a not much cold. Okay, it will be, the temperature will be a high in a lower altitude. So the altitude of a place decides the temperature and the climatic condition. Okay, distribution of a land and the water. Okay, as already said, the land and water, the temperature was transferred from a land to sea, and also from a sea to land. So whenever there is a very high temperature in a land, the sea water receives such a temperature to cool the land area. Whenever there is a very cold climatic condition in a land, the sea water heats land. So there will be a transfer of a heat and coldness. Transfer of a heat and cold between the land and the water. So this is the climatic condition. That is why the region away from a sea will be a very high temperature extremity, and the region closest to the sea will not faces a climatic extremity. There will be no extreme climate condition. Either it was there will be a moderate climate. Next one is a relief. Relief is nothing but a physiography of a area. Relief is nothing but a physiography of a area. Take for example, a wind from the Arabian Sea was interrupted by the Western Ghats. So the distribution of a rain happens in this region because it lies in the windward side. But behind that, this is the leeward side. Okay, leeward side of a Western Ghats does not receive much rain because all the coldness in the wind was distributed as a rain here. Whenever it crosses the Western Ghats, the air or wind loses its moisture. There will be no moisture or minimum moisture in the air or wind. Okay, so that is why the area that lies in the leeward side of a Western Ghats receives a low temperature. Likewise, in the mountain places, which lies in a windward side receives a higher rainfall, and which lies in a leeward side receives a lower rainfall. So this is what the major factors that determining the climate of India. Thank you.